guys, and thanks so much for watching. So one of my very first videos on YouTube was a henna tutorial, and since then I've been using henna consistently for that whole time, and so I've learned a lot of tips and tricks, so I wanted to sort of give you my freshened up brand new tutorial for how I get my mermaid-esque henna hair. So this is the finished product. It's a couple days since I've done my henna treatment because henna darkens up over the next few days. So I wanted to show you guys the most authentic color that it was going to be. I've been playing around with hair color since I was probably about 12, and I've done everything you can probably think of to my hair. I've had it dark, I've bleached it and lightened it and highlighted it and cut it super short and grown it super long, so I've done a lot to it. I started getting interested in henna when I became concerned about ingredients in traditional chemical hair dyes. And I looked more into it, and you can actually see the very first time I dyed my henna, which is on my original YouTube video. The product that I use to get my henna hair color is by Light Mountain Natural, and this color is bright red. Pure henna is made from Lawsonia inermis powder, so it's only one botanical and certified organic ingredient. This is a lot different from the miles-long list of ingredients that's on a traditional hair dye box. I love using this hair dye because I don't have to worry about any adverse effects it might have on my body, and I don't actually have to use it as frequently as I did when I was coloring my hair with chemical red dye. It doesn't have as many problems with fading, but if I do want to color my hair with henna, I feel comfortable doing it a lot more often because I don't have to worry about the chemicals getting into my body. I know that a lot of you who have experience with coloring your hair know the guilt that comes along with it, because normally when you color your hair, you are especially damaging. If you have long hair, you'll be damaging the length. And sometimes we have to cut off length to start afresh so that our hair doesn't turn to straw. So the amazing thing about henna is that it's actually adding protein to your hair, and it's a hair treatment, so it's not damaging to your hair at all. It's infusing your hair with health, and when you wash it out, you'll notice that your hair is so much stronger, shinier, and smoother. Some types of henna that doesn't come from a reputable seller can have different types of metals and contaminants in it, and when you mix up your henna, as I'll show you, you can't use any metal. You can't use bobby pins in your hair or anything like that because it will have an adverse reaction with the henna. So that's why I really like to use Light Mountain, because I know where their henna comes from and I know that every batch is extremely pure. So Light Mountain has actually given me a discount code to pass on to you guys, so that when you go to buy your henna from them, you can get a discount and you can try it out for a really good price. All of that information I'll leave in the info box. I made these test swatches of my own hair to show you guys in case you were curious about some of the other colors that they have. It's really important to always do a test swatch because henna needs to sit for different amounts of time on different types of hair. So in order to get your perfect color, test it out first with some hair from your brush. First, I use distilled water because I want to make sure I have the purest water that doesn't have any other sort of properties that are going to react badly with the henna. So I used distilled water, 12 to 14 ounces, and I heated it up until it was practically boiling in the microwave. You don't want to heat it in a pan on the stove because that's metal, and I don't want to get any chances of any metal getting into the water. I let it cool slightly so that the water is not boiling because I don't want to burn the henna, and just mix the henna in. You can add about 4 ounces more water if you need to. Getting your color dye release is really important, so you don't want to put the henna on too soon, or you're going to have to leave it on your head practically forever to get it to color your hair. So I let mine sit about 3.5 hours before I applied it to my hair. So I wanted to show you guys what my hair looks like before I do my henna treatment. I have the top part of my hair, which has been colored with henna, but as you can see it's darker, and that's just my natural hair which has henna over it. And then the other part of my hair, it's sort of like an ombre red, is from years ago when I chemically dyed my hair red, so it doesn't get as dark as this because it doesn't have as much pigment because it was actually chemically lightened. And then at the top I have a little bit of roots, not too much right now, but it's my light to medium brown, so that's what it looks like before we do the treatment. I just went and shampooed my hair. I didn't condition it because I like to get all of the residue that I can out of my hair of all the products and oil and things like that, and then leave it sort of as bare as possible for the henna to take the best. So I just washed it actually a couple of times. You can apply henna with dry hair, but one of my pitfalls with doing that has been that the henna ends up being too dry and I'm just so frustrated working with it. So I like to start with wet hair so that I don't end up just being one dry mud head, and then if the henna dries too much, it won't color because the liquid won't seep into your hair. So as you can see, I've got my lovely gloves on that came with my box of henna. Before you start, if you tend to get a little bit messy and get problems around your hairline, you can apply some... Oh, that just went into the henna. Well, I just dropped this in my henna bowl, but it is some ointment that I like to use sometimes to go around my hairline just to keep from having any henna leak down onto my skin. But I really want to make sure that the henna dyes all the way up to the roots, so I'm going to skip that for this time, but that's just a suggestion for you guys who need it. You can also use hand cream or lotion or even conditioner if you're in a pinch. Make sure when you apply that ointment you're not doing it with your gloves, because you don't want there to be ointment on your gloves and then wherever it touches your hair, the henna won't take. And also another tip, which I'm not going to do today because I'm going for a more all over henna. If you have any little highlights that you want to keep, or if you have ends that are lighter from the sun or anything like that, you can apply some conditioner or some ointment like I showed you to those parts, and the henna won't take as strongly into your hair on those parts. So that's just a little tip for that sun-kissed look. The most important, of course, is right around your hairline, the most noticeable. So I like to get that first so it can just get sitting. I actually like to use the brushes for hair coloring that you can get from the beauty supply store, like Sally's or something like that. They're like $1 or $2. But I can't seem to find mine, and so I'm just going to go with my hands, because you can also do it with your hands. You can kind of feel a little bit better where it goes. It's just a little bit messier. So once I go all around my hairline, what I like to do is I'll part my hair in the middle and apply the henna down just to make sure that you get all of the roots. So you can see where the part is and kind of scrub it down in there. And once I've done that, I'll move over to the next about an inch. And then make my new part. And then get those roots. And that way you have the fullest treatment and you don't part your hair differently one day and then you realize that your hair is a totally different color under there. Especially since henna is so thick, you just want to make sure that it reaches, because it's not just a liquid that's going to flow all over your hair. You can use a tail comb to part it if that helps you. To make sure I get all around my hairline, you can pull it up like you're going to be putting it in a ponytail and sort of paint around. If the henna is too dry or too thick and you try it, especially if it's your first time doing this, it's not going to apply properly and you're just going to hate it because it's going to be a really big pain to you. So if you have tried it before and you thought it was just too difficult, give it another try, because the right amount of liquid makes a huge difference in this situation. I've made sure that I'm really well covered all over the roots of my head. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring it down through the length. See, I look like a crazy superhero with my little cape. And this is where you definitely want to make sure that the henna is moist enough so that it can spread throughout your hair. So if I can show you, this is what it looks like. That's the consistency. You can brush it through. It's really, really hard, but you can do that if you feel like it helps spread the henna better. I'm just kind of gently just wiggling it to make sure that it's all covered. But my hair is a rat's nest right now, so it doesn't really want to brush. So I twisted my hair up into a little French twist, and I used these plastic combs to secure it because it's really easy to forget not to use something metal. So you want to make sure that you use something plastic, and I secured it in there. If you think that your hair has lost moisture because it's evaporated while you've done your henna process, put some distilled water in a little spray bottle and spritz it over your hair just to make sure your hair has enough moisture before you put it up into your hair bonnet. So this comes along with it, which is really convenient, so you can walk around without getting henna all over your house. Heat helps henna fully color your hair, so I'm going to use my hair dryer every 10 to 15 minutes throughout this process to warm it up and get the heat really going in there. The heat from your body underneath your head also helps to keep it warm. With the hair dryer, just be careful that you don't hold it still for too long on any one place because this is plastic and you don't want to melt it onto your head. I let my henna sit on my head for about 4 hours. Again, henna takes differently on different types of hair, so just make sure you test it out with a few different swatches of your own hair. The very best way to get the henna out of your hair when you're washing it out is to take some conditioner. Any sort of inexpensive conditioner will be great. And I just use that sort of to wash it. So I'll do maybe 3 different rounds of washing it out with the conditioner because it sort of helps it loosen it up and lets it get out of your hair. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check in the info box below for the links to your discount from Light Mountain. While I waited for my henna to sit, I actually did a clay face mask tutorial and I put that up right here, so I'll put that there for you guys to check out. It's a good thing to do while you waste some of your time while you're waiting for your henna to cook on your head. If any of you guys try this out, I always love it when you tag me in pictures so I can see your handiwork. And check me out all across the internet on my Instagram, Twitter, and everything. You can find it in the info box below. So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys, have a lovely day.